Taking a first look at the new Foxtrot Mike FM-15 Gen 2, available both in an upper and a complete rifle. When I first saw this rifle on social media, I was intrigued, I was interested, and I kind of saw some teaser images, and one of the first things I saw was the lack of a traditional charging handle and this rear folding mechanism. Right now the rage is kind of cool for folding guns with backpack guns and things like that, so this one does have a folding mechanism. And then, as you can see, no traditional charging handle. And you might be asking, well, where is the charging handle? Well, the charging handle is now up here, which means that even in this configuration with the stock folded, the gun can cycle. And the gun can be fired from this position as well. So I thought that was pretty interesting what they have going on over there. So then once I received the gun, being a gun nerd that I am, the first thing I did was take it apart, and I saw that there was a lot more going on under the hood than just taking a traditional AR and modifying it somehow. Now, Foxtrot Mike is no stranger to the industry. They manufacture for a lot of companies doing a lot of cool stuff. And when I had the opportunity to talk to the owner of Foxtrot Mike and kind of get into more of the details, get into the weeds of some of this, I really liked what that conversation entailed of, and then they sent me some other parts to kind of show you guys in more detail as well. My name is Dave Tim from Guns and Tactics. Thank you guys very much for spending a few minutes of your day checking out this video, and I'm excited to kind of show you guys in depth and in details of what's going on. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to have you as a part of our community. Now, just to get disclosure out of the way, Foxtrot Mike is not paying me to make this video. I was provided this rifle from Rainier Arms, and this particular one is a Rainier Arms exclusive. So you can find more information in the link posted below to either buy or learn more about this product. It is available in either an upper receiver or a complete rifle. Now, for me, looking at this kind of rifle, it's a 16-inch intermediate gas system. So I was thinking, well, what kind of, build or configuration? And I'm also doing an upcoming review on this EOTech Voodoo 1-10, and I thought this would be a really cool scope to throw on here because I kind of look at this as basically like a recce rifle or a recon rifle. 16-inch intermediate gas. You can, fold the stock and easily stow it in a backpack if you wanted to. So if you had to, put it in a bag for concealment or anything like that, which some people are doing, that's cool. It's not my thing right now, but I thought, this would be kind of the cool. And I love LPVOs to begin with. So this setup is how I ran the gun. As far as function, no issues whatsoever. There was a few things I wanted to check out. Number one, how it would function suppressed because it does have an adjustable gas block. We'll get into that here in a little bit. And then how it just generally would run overall, because anytime you change the buffer system, the spring system or whatever, in my opinion, you're introducing an opportunity to have some issues. And I would say close to 600 rounds through this in my range days and zero issues whatsoever. Like the gun just ran. It was reliable. It fed with PMags, it fed with USGI mags, it ran with cheap bulk ammo, it ran with some nicer ammo. It was just generally a very, very reliable gun. Now, as far as accuracy tests go, I was shooting prone at 100 yards, and again, I used the LPVO here to get a 0, and with bulk ammo, it was hovering right around a minute, give or take, and I put a bunch of bulk ammo in the thing, so some of it's PMC, some of it's federal, some of it's whatever, and groups would range anywhere from just under to like an inch and a half, and again, that's just with that 55 grain bulk ammo. Now, when I did put some nicer ammunition in it, I believe I was shooting federal 62 grain bonded, I was starting to see groups kind of hover more towards that 3/4 of an inch, and then when I did try some 69 grain CR Match King, they were again right around that 3/4 of an inch. So I was very happy with the accuracy, again, just based off bipod and prone shooting in kind of, less than ideal conditions, but no issues with accuracy. I was very impressed with what the gun would do. Now, let's talk about what's going on under the hood, which makes me so interested. So first things first, let's get into what is going on in the receiver section, because we have a very unique carrier and system what's going on here. So in order to take it apart, you do need a punch, and basically this retainer piece, you have to compress the recoil spring, and then this rod and recoil spring comes out. We can then take the carrier and bolt out as well. So that is kind of the operating system of the gun. So this is what's going on, and you can see that I actually have shot this. Now, the recoil system is a dual spring system. So it has a smaller inner spring here and then a larger spring, and then it does have basically like a guide rod, and it all comes together like so. Now, I'm not going to use these dirty parts to show you, but I did want to kind of highlight that it is a unique and cool operating system. So let's look at the carrier in detail. I do have a carrier here, and it kind of looks like an AR carrier that was basically shortened. You can have, obviously see where the gas key would be here, the cam pin would go here, and then we have our, dust cover cut out here. But it is a cool looking small carrier. And then when it's all together like so, you can see that we do have a bolt, a cam pin that is a nice radius cam pin, good staking on the gas key, and then you can see that the gas key is of a unique shape as well. If we flip to the front, we do have a bottom hole, which is where our gas tube comes in and delivers gas. It is a direct impingement system, but then we also have this surface up here, which interfaces with that charging handle operating rod. So it doesn't use that traditional T handle, it uses a longer charging handle with a rod to control the function and move the carrier back and forth. But this is the carrier. I thought this was a really cool design. And then again, because it's shorter, you can fire with the stock folded, which is kind of a cool feature if you want. With the traditional AR, even with the folding adapter, you can only fire one time, and then you'd have to obviously cycle the rounds. So that's kind of what's going on under the hood with the operating system. Focusing on the upper receiver, one of the things that I like is there's no forward assist because we don't have one with this system, so take it off if you don't need it. It does have a brass deflector, it uses a standard dust cover. But if you'll notice that the upper receiver is a little taller than a standard AR receiver because we do have that taller gas key in that operating system. But they machined the upper receiver and the rail beautifully. Like everything comes together in just gorgeous seamless lines, and it looks like it's almost made out of one piece, except for obviously it's not, where there's two pieces here. Speaking of upper receiver to rail fit, we do have an anti-rotation tab that is machined into the rail. There is a tab that is machined into the rail, and it has a matching receptacle or a groove on the upper receiver. So when these two lock together and they're clamped in place, this prevents any sort of rotation. This is a great design that appears very rugged. But then if we look towards the bottom, you can see that we have this larger area here and then the two clamping screws on the other side. So you'll see that it doesn't use a traditional AR style barrel nut. We have a lot more surface area here. So then I wanted to do a little bit more digging on that and kind of figure out what they had going on here, because this isn't a traditional barrel extension and system. So here's what's really cool is that we have their barrel. And you might be thinking, well, it kind of looks similar to an AR barrel, and it certainly does, except for we have this taper here and these flats here. And what's really cool is this is the barrel nut. This is a big, beefy barrel nut. I mean, look at how much longer that is than a standard AR barrel nut. But I'm going to try to get you footage so you can see it inside there. And I know it's a little difficult, but you can see inside the barrel nut there's actually a taper. If we were to cut away the barrel nut, there's actually an internal taper here that matches this taper here. So as the two come together, not only do they compress, but it's a taper fit. And those of you guys that are familiar with anything to do with the machining world or anything like that, is that tapers are great because not only do they help self-center, but they also then provide more surface area to have more of an interference fit as we tighten this barrel nut to the receiver. I really liked that. I thought that was a great evolution, if you will, to this just using a standard AR barrel. Now, when I started to look at this barrel up close, other things that I really liked is it does have flats here. So if we needed to use this to attach or remove muzzle devices, it's always nice having some flats. But then I looked at the bottom and you can see that it is pinned for the gas block, but there is one more flat here going on. And I thought, that's pretty neat. So if we look at their gas block, this is their gas block, and you can see that it does have, two pins, which is great, but it also does have this additional piece here that fits on the barrel. So how this works is the gas block is then aligned, and then that flat that is machined into the barrel faces with this lug on the gas block, and it locks in place basically and prevents rotation, and then it's also pinned in place. So this is arguably probably the most rugged, durable way I've seen to attach a gas block to a barrel in this type of a method. It looks really good. So we have that lug, we have the pins, but wait, there's one more trick up its sleeve as well, and there is a port up here at the top so you can verify alignment with the gas port. So you can simply just look down and verify that the block is in alignment, and then obviously our gas tube would go in there and complete the operating system. So when it comes to the barrel, how they attach the gas block, the taper, and the barrel nut, I just thought this system just had a lot of cool things going on. And I didn't know this, but Foxtrot Mike manufactures barrels for a ton of people in the industry, and They definitely know what they're doing when it comes to barrels. Now, the barrel that we have on our upper is an intermediate gas system, which means it's a little bit longer than a mid. It's in between a mid and a rifle, which should make for a softer shooting rifle because we have a little less dwell time. But what's cool on the Rainier Arms version is we have a 3-position adjustable gas block. It basically has 3 positions and they're marked with little dots. So 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot. And now it is protected here, so you're definitely not going to bump them at the field, but I was able to adjust it in the field using a bullet, and I was able to go between position 1, 2, and 3. Now what's cool to note with that 3-position adjustable gas block, being that it does come with it on the Rainier Arms version, is that's typically about a $70 upgrade for some of their other products that are available from other distributors. Now, one of the things I wanted to test with the gas block is to see generally how it would run. And the rifle ran great on position 2. When it was on position 3, I could definitely tell it was a little overgassed, so I turned it back to number 2. But then I turned it down to position 1 and fired it without a suppressor to see if it would actually reduce the amount of gas and, continue cycling the gun. And when I turned it down to position 1, it started short stroking, as you can see in the footage. So the gun would not cycle without a suppressor on position 1. Put it back on position 2, it ran just fine, obviously. But then when I put a suppressor on with that position 1, the gun ran. It did its job. It reduced the gas when I added a suppressor, making shooting with a suppressor more pleasant. Now, the only modification I did to the gun was the muzzle device. It does come with a standard A2, and all I did was take that off and put on my flash hider here just so I could run a suppressor, because with that adjustable gas block, I really wanted to make sure to test it with a suppressor. That's the only modification I did with the gun. But it ran great with a suppressor, it ran great without a suppressor, and that adjustable gas block was definitely a nice touch. And again, that's part of the exclusive to the Rainier Arms version, is we do have that 16-inch barrel with intermediate gas and a 3-position gas block, so that's cool. Now, right by the gas block is the charging handle, and it did take a little bit of getting used to of reaching forward to manipulate the gun, but this charging handle is non-reciprocating, so it does not move when you're shooting, and it does have a return spring. So as you pull it back, lock the bolt back to the rear, it will return to that forward position. Again, it did not move at all when I was shooting. Now, here's what's cool about it is it is reversible. So right now it's on the left side in kind of an up configuration. However, by removing the set screw on the front, you can then change this charging handle to either a downward angle, or you can move it on to the right side of the gun for left-handed shooters as well. Changing the position of the charging handle is pretty simple. You just got to find a long 3/32 hex key, loosen the set screw, and then position the charging handle in the position of your choice. There is a groove on the charging handle. Place that in the center because that's where the set screw will engage, and then just snug it back up. And if that's the way you're going to keep it, you can also add a small amount of thread locker as well. Now, this is going to be available in just an upper, basically what I have here minus the optic, and obviously it comes with the standard A2 that we talked about. And this will go on any standard AR lower. If you do put the upper receiver on your lower, you will need to use the included rail adapter, so you can add either a brace or a stock or a folding mechanism, whatever. Any type of stock or brace that will affix on a piece of Picatinny rail, you can use with the system. And there's a wide variety of those on the market to choose from. If you get the complete rifle, we'll talk about what the lower comes with here in a sec, but this is what goes into your lower receiver. And I thought this was another really cool part here as well. So we have this rail adapter and the Rainier Arms exclusive version. This is all machined aluminum, and it is 2 pieces. And the tool that you'll need is just a standard 3/8 ratchet. And I found an extension worked a little bit easier, but basically this comes apart and it is left-handed thread, so as you tighten it into your lower, it kind of pulls everything together. And then this end plate has a Picatinny rail for attaching your stock, has a QD socket for attaching a sling, and then the detent set screw is there. But this will go on any standard lower receiver. I thought the end plate was really cool. Basically, as you tighten the insert, you then thread on the end plate, and then as you continue to tighten the insert, it'll kind of draw that end plate into the back of your lower receiver, holding it in place. And it's really solid. There's no play or wiggle or anything like that, and all you need is just a simple ratchet. Once you have the rail adapter in place, then the upper, just goes on a standard lower receiver like I have here. So this is compatible with any lower, just with that included rail adapter, which is pretty cool. Very minimal proprietary parts. Now, if you want the complete rifle is available. It is going to be a little bit more. And what you're getting with the rifle is a billet machined lower receiver, and some features to highlight on the lower are a larger flared magwell, integrated trigger guard, and generally sleek lines. There's no sharp edges or anything like that. And when I first saw the lower receiver, it was almost kind of like deceivingly small. It almost looked like a PCC lower, but it's a standard AR-556 lower. Now, as far as fire controls and furniture, I'll basically call it out what it is. It's kind of placeholder. A lot of people like to add in their own trigger, their own grip, their own stock or whatever. And this is just a basic mil-spec trigger. It's nothing special. It works, it's reliable, and it is an ambi safety, so it does have safety on left and right side. But again, a lot of people will likely upgrade the fire control group and likely upgrade the grip. Now, as far as stock goes, depending again, if you buy it with the upper, you can add your own folding mechanism or fixed stock. And if you buy the complete rifle, it does come with a MFT kind of minimalist stock, which is adjustable. Again, you can add whatever style of stock that you want. Generally, I prefer different stocks and grips. So if I was, getting this complete rifle, those would probably be the first things I would swap out, and I would put in a nicer trigger. There's a ton of trigger options on the market, but this particular one is just a mil-spec trigger. So it's kind of gritty, it's kind of heavy, but it works out of the box, and I had no issues with it. So honestly, if it had a nicer trigger, I kind of wonder if I could have been a little bit more accurate as well. As far as pricing and availability, again, this is a Rainier Arms exclusive, so in order to get it, you do have to go to them direct. You can use the link, which will carry over them. Retail on the complete upper is going to be right around $700 street price. Kind of depends if you want to upgrade your own thing or have a complete rifle ready to go right out of the box. So again, Rainier Arms is the exclusive distributor of what you are seeing here, but Foxtrot Mike is no stranger to the industry. Like I said before, they're doing manufacturing for a lot of other cool stuff. And I'm looking forward to kind of checking out some more of their products in the future, because I kind of like the engineering and the thought that went into this. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. What do you guys think? Is this an upper that you are going to run on your lower, or are you kind of leaning towards the complete rifle? Do you want to see a different configuration? Maybe something a little bit shorter? That'd be kind of cool. Can you imagine this in like a pistol or SBR? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you guys think of the gun? What do you guys think of the idea, the alternate operating system, all that good stuff? Sound off in the comment section below. If you guys like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Generally want to see the community grow. If you guys have a question about this or anything else firearms related, you can leave a comment, or you can send an email to the email address shown below. That is the QA@gunsandtactics.com. And at the end of the month, we have a QA episode where I answer your questions, plus we give away a prize. If you want to support the channel, the best way is through our Patreon network. You can search for Guns and Tactics or use the link below. We genuinely and are humbled by all the support that you guys give us. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.